The 3 things you need to avoid in your 20s. Guys, it's Rick Ginn, and today's video is actually very different. I'm going to tell you the 3 most critical things you must avoid of making your mistakes in 20s, because if you do, it's going to cost you a lot of time, it's going to cost you a lot of money. But who am I? I've been through my 20s, I've made all the mistakes. I want to share with you the 3 things you definitely don't want to do. But before I get into it, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button. You hit that subscribe notification button to continue to receive the best up-to-date videos. So the first one's going to be a no-brainer. I'm just going to go ahead and get out of the way. You cannot have debt in your 20s. Let me repeat. You cannot have debt in your 20s. And the reality is most 20-year-olds get way in over their head in debt. Now, this makes sense to me because it is probably the least amount of money you're ever going to earn in your life. And unfortunately, some of you make stupid decisions and you just stack on debt because you think you're going to figure it out later. And that debt can cost you the next 10, 20, 30, even 40 years of you working ridiculous hours at a job just to pay for stuff in your 20s. And here's the wild part. You don't even have that crap anymore. So let me give you some ideas of things you have to avoid going into debt. If you can get through your 20s without being in debt, you are pretty much financially set for the rest of your life, because any debt you take on in your 20s is most likely going to take you 10, 20, if not 30 plus years to pay it off. And there's no real value to it. So number 1, stop using your credit cards. Make sure you use a credit card just for your bank protection and pay it off every month. If you are running a balance on your credit card and you're paying one of these ridiculous interest rates, stop it. The credit card companies know that you can't afford it. That's why they give it to you. So please don't fall into this whole credit card score and I got to get my credit up. Listen, just have decent credit. But you know, when you stop buying all that crap, your credit score actually goes down. You see, the financial system wants to hook you on credit. They want you to get so used to credit. Why not? The US government does it, so they're going to train you just like a soldier. And once you turn 18 to 21, you're going to get hammered with credit card offers. It seems like free money. It is a trap and it will bury you in your 20s. Guys, if you have credit card debt right now, take a look at it and find a way to get rid of it as soon as possible. Remember, most of that stuff you buy in your credit, it's going to be your dinners, it's going to be vacations, and it's going to be tchotchke stuff around your home. None of it is going to benefit you in your 20s. Moving on to the next one. The other debt we all forget about is student debt. Under no circumstances should you get a student loan to go to college. I'm sorry. Listen, you can spread your college out. There's so many ways to do it. But do you know that is the easiest loan that the United States government gives you? You know why? Because you can never get out of it. And I've watched people personally pay for 20, 30 years on $100,000 plus college educations that they never actually used, or they took a low-paying job. So I'm not here to discuss the college. I'm just saying, if you have to go to debt to go into college, you're doing it 100% wrong. It is a trap. That's why Americans owe over $1 trillion in institutional loans for college. Why? Because there is no ROI on it. For the most part, I'll go on this later in depth on this. Do not get college student loans because it will tax you for the next 20 or 30 years of your life, and you're never going to get out from under it. The next one on here, a big debt item, is cars, guys. Go get a basic car. I'm sorry. I drive around in a beat up Honda Accord and I occasionally use an F-150 for my business. That's it. I don't care about cars. Honestly, cars are rapidly depreciating assets, and the reality is most of them are a liability for you. But here's what you're doing. You want to impress all your friends, and we're going to talk about that. That is going to take you out in your 20s. You see, your ego is so big and inflated, you think a nice car will validate what you're doing, and honestly, it's only feeding your own ego. And if your friends are going to be predicated on the type of car you drive, you've got to be kidding me. Guys, anyone who brags about the type of car they drive is only trying to accomplish one thing. They want to look rich, but they'll never actually become rich. So make a sacrifice in your 20s, get a car you can pay cash for it. I don't care if it doesn't have AC, as long as it's got 4 good tires and it can get you back and forth to run daily errands or get you to work. That's all you need. The rest of it is nothing more than a liability. These types of debts will bury you in your 20s. And I know we talked about this earlier, but please stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. You are not the Joneses. You are a unique person built by the hands of God, and only you have that DNA, that blueprint. Go out, find out what it is you want to do in life, and make it count. But for God's sakes, stop trying to look fake rich. Nobody likes it. You're attracting the wrong people in your life. And if you don't get this critical part of how debt destroys you in your 20s, be very, very clear. If you can get through your 20s without debt, I promise you, your life is going to be amazing. Don't fall for the trap. All your friends are in debt. Everyone's around it. It is a trick. Don't fall for it. Okay, number 2, you have to avoid becoming unhealthy. Rick, I'm in my 20s. I'm good. I'm here to tell you, the reality is if you go to college or you're in your 20s, if you didn't go to college, most of you start eating whatever you want. You don't have your parents' supervision and you stop working out. You stop attending like your sports rec leagues that you did in high school. And what happens is you start eating everything. You stop becoming physically active. And honestly, this is the point where you're probably going to gain the most weight. Hell, I'm just going to spit it out for you. You've got to avoid becoming fat. Listen, 69% of Americans are overweight or obese, according to Harvard University study. Guys, that is a staggering number. And the reality is if you become unhealthy, you are just a candidate to get diabetes right off the bat. You're going to be taking blood pressure medicine. You're going to be trying to break your cholesterol down. You are going to be under heavy medication in your 20s. You've got to take care of this. Guys, once you lose your health, nothing else matters in life. The reality is most people that get fat, they do it to themselves. And then they have plausible deniability. I don't know how this happened. You know exactly how it happened. You became inactive, you stopped moving your body around, and you ate whatever you want. You've got to fix this. And if I'm hitting a chord right now with you, fix it. Much easier to fix in your 20s as opposed to your 40s, 50s, and 60s. To be honest with you, I used to be overweight in my 20s. Why? Because I never focused on it. I didn't care. I thought I was going to live forever. The reality is you have to take care of yourself. The sooner you start, the better off you'll be. Listen, if you wind up getting unhealthy and you don't take care of yourself, it's going to affect your self-esteem. You're going to lose confidence. It's going to kill you in wholesaling right off the bat. Number 2, people judge you by how you look. I'm sorry. This is the truth of life. The thing is, if you are unhealthy now and you're overweight, you can't fix it overnight. You have to come up with a long-term plan. And please stop the dieting because the dieting is what's caused these problems in America. You just have to find a way to prepare healthy meals, learn how to eat more protein, and cut out a lot of the sugar and the carbs. And the reality is you shouldn't be eating 3 meals a day. We were never put on this earth to eat 3 meals a day. You and only you are in control of your health. When you get a poor self-image with your health, your self-esteem goes down. We talked about that. Your self-confidence gets shot. And honestly, you attract the wrong people in your life. And that's how a lot of you wind up with really bad relationships. Now, I'm not saying everyone, but I'm just telling you, if you don't take care of your health, you are going to have a lot of problems in your business. You're going to have it with your family, with your significant other. And honestly, if you want to have healthy kids, kids watch what you do. They hear what you say, but they're definitely going to watch what you do and eat. You have to be the example. So what? If you're in that situation right now, just admit the truth to yourself and be accountable to yourself and start taking actions today to fix it. Your family needs you here. Me and Zach need you here. And honestly, if you don't have health, you can forget about wealth because it's never going to happen. And number 3, boy, this one's special to me. Stop reacting to people. I know it's wired in your DNA. I know you've been programmed by your parents, your siblings, all your friends. But the reality is you cannot control everything in life. But the one thing you can absolutely control is how do you react and respond to any situation. Most people are governed solely by their unconscious mind. So whenever an emotion comes up, they react, they yell, they scream, they get short, they throw their hands up, they throw a temper tantrum like a 6-year-old child. You can't do this because when you do it, it shows you have very little control of your emotions and you are managed by the situation. We all done it. You're doing it right now. I've done it in the past. Listen, things are going to happen to you that honestly you don't have control, but you do have control to the response and the reaction. And the more calm and cool-headed you are, the better you're going to navigate through that situation. You guys know all those people that all they do is react with their emotions. They're emotional people. And sometimes it needs to be done, but for the most part, when it comes to business, especially dealing with your family, you got to stop reacting like a child. Like, I can just tell you right now, when people respond and they go purely with their emotions, it's a person I'm probably not going to spend a lot of time and energy with, because if they can be managed by their emotions, it means everything's a reaction. And I probably want to go find people that are much more well balanced. You see, you have these two things. You have emotions and you have feelings. And the reality is your emotions are your present feelings right now. How you feel right now watching this video, if you're getting pissed off at me because I'm telling you the truth, then that's an emotion. But the reality is a feeling is basically how you respond and interpret those emotions in your mind, your subconscious mind. And what happens is once you trigger a definition to emotion, so like if you're upset right now and like Rick pisses you off, then every time you see my face, you're pissed off because you think I'm going to tell you the truth and hurt your feelings, when in reality is you're just denying yourself how you truly feel. That way you don't have to deal with the problem. And that's what happens once you interpret your emotions, you give them a definition, you do this vicious cycle and you do it over and over. So if you're reacting to people and you're not having a positive outcome, what you need to do is take 10 seconds before you ever react to someone. And here's how you're going to respond to them. That was interesting. And when you do that, it actually will make people smile, and it gives you time to actually process a logical response, either if it's positive or negative. But when you just go off your raw emotions, that's how you get in trouble in life. And that's how you say things you regret. And honestly, if you're going to say something really negative, type it out on an email and save it for 48 hours and decide if you're ever going to save it. Odds are you'll erase 99% of those emails. So once you understand that emotions are the present of how you feel and feelings are how you interpret these emotions over the long run, you've got to understand you got to stop trying to bury your feelings. Yes, there's going to be negative feelings that come up with your life. People are going to pass away. You're going to get sick. You're going to have business failures. But the reality is the definition you give to these feelings is going to ultimately define how you respond to everything else going in your life. And if you just try to mask these feelings with alcohol and drugs, you never rectify the situation and your reaction will get stronger and worse. Guys, I'm just telling you the truth. Too much of society masks stuff with alcohol and drugs. And honestly, the more you mask it, the more you bury it down and the deeper of a problem it comes. It's okay to cry. It's okay to get upset, but you're better off being in the present day feeling than taking something that numbs you out and then makes you feel like crap, makes you definitely much more unhealthy. And then it comes back tenfold the next day because you still have to come back to reality. And talking about reactions with it, guys, stop trying to please everybody. You can't do it. I've tried it. You can't do it. It is an unattainable goal. So knowing you don't have to please everybody, there's some people in this world you do not want to please. Because if you wind up being a people pleaser and you yes everyone to death, you're never going to accomplish what God put you on this earth to do. And the reality is you need to find the people, your tribe that connect with you, that help you, that push you, that help you grow, and get rid of the toxic people in your life. But trying to be a people pleaser is a deal killer in wholesaling. And last but not least, get rid of the drama in your life. If you're around people that just constantly gossip and talk about your friends behind their back, and you participated and you spread these rumors, you're just as bad as the person that started the dang gossip rumor. So stop listening to third parties. Stop saying, I heard, he said, she said. That's all hearsay. Take control of what you want to get done in your life, and you take actions for you and your company and your family, and let everything else work it out. You gossiping about Bob or Pam or Bill is only going to make you miserable because you're going to get all festered up in it. And people who gossip, they do it for drama. Get rid of the drama in your life. So guys, I've given you 3 distinct things that you have to avoid in your 20s. Now I broke them all down in granular detail, but the reality is if you do not fix these 3 areas, you are going to have challenging times. I beg you, I implore you to go back and watch his videos. Learn from my mistakes, guys. I thought I knew everything. My ego was huge. Lose your ego, master these 3 things in your 20s, and I promise you a life that you can't even imagine. Guys, listen, if you got value from this video, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, you hit that subscribe button, and let me know in the comments which of these 3 things really rang home with you. Guys, I want you to learn from me. I am like that uncle that is telling you the truth that your parents wouldn't tell you. I'm here to tell you, don't fall for these traps. If you do these 3 things, it's going to cost you a lot of time and money. So let me know in the comments, guys. This is Rick Ginn. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.